Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to AussieStarcraft, bringing you another great game off the ladder. A lot of you out there were demanding some TLO games, so of course our red Zerg in the bottom centre is going to be LiquidTLO. Always a hugely amusing Zerg player to watch, big fan myself, so more than happy to bring you guys a game from TLO. And he is actually up against a Barcode player. For those of you that aren't familiar, players will swap their name out for a Barcode series to keep secret the different strategies that they're practicing. Both these players grand masters on the European server, so this is likely a player that TLO is familiar with, but because of the Barcode he'll be unsure of the usual build orders and strategies that our Blue Terran might be employing. So it'll be our red Zerg LiquidTLO versus our Blue Terran Barcode. The map is of course Frost, so we have central spawn locations at the top and bottom, and we'll see what these two players have for us today. This is a bit of a chat about the channel. I had a lot of traffic recently, particularly from Reddit and other places. Grateful that you guys have popped on board. We hope you enjoy your time here on AussieStarcraft. We'll be bringing you a lot of regular content. Try to upload a video every single day at a minimum. So always go ahead and leave your feedback down below, any questions or comments you might have. I have been having some sound issues the last couple of days. I think I plugged a stereo system into my computer and blew part of my headset, so I'll be grabbing a new headset and some other things to hopefully clean up the sound quality. Just bringing up the production tab, we can see that TLO has his spawning pool and his natural expansion coming up now. The Terran player likewise has gone for a gasless expand, so just dropped his supply depot, then popped his command center down on the low ground, following that up with a barracks on the high ground. So, and now gas. So it looks like a fairly economic opening for both these players. Both players are electing to go gasless for the first couple of minutes, generally so that they can get those few extra minerals to help them expand just a little bit quicker. So Terran player's now got gas, so we'll likely see a Reaper once this barracks finishes up, and he'll use that to be able to scout our Zerg main base. Now we've talked about it a bit on this map before. Frost is a really interesting map. Your main base being centrally located makes it highly exposed, makes it exposed to things like Reapers along this front edge, makes it exposed to things like drops along the back edge, just a hugely exposed base in general, and same for the Terran at our top, massively exposed, so things like Mutalisks, it's just very difficult to hold them out of your main with things like missile turrets. If you can imagine the sheer quantity of missile turrets you'd need to defend this entire platform, you begin to get an idea of what we mean by this being such an interesting map. Usually base will be located up in the corner, and so you only have to defend one or two sides, but Frost adds quite an interesting dynamic to it. So have our first mules coming down at the expansion for our Barcode player. TLO has a couple of queens on the field, two more in production. TLO likes this sort of 4-queen opening. He gets 2 queens, one on each hatchery to do all the injects, and 2 queens out in the map to spread creep. And TLO's creep spread is quite good. You can actually find a few tutorials out there that TLO has done on creep spread and his hotkeys to give you an indication of just how he carries that out to keep up with the macro there as well as other parts of his base. So very good with his creep spread. Always uses the latest fashion, you could say, in creep spread. He'll do all sorts of things from multiple queens at his base to even proxying a hatchery and then cancelling it, which leaves just a tiny patch of creep, and planting a creep tumor on it with a queen. So I've seen him do all sorts of crazy tricks to get that creep as spread as possible, and it tends to favour him quite a bit, because creep will function much like, well, not a map hack, but if you have creep across the map, it also gives you vision, so it's very hard to sneak up on a Zerg player who has creep over a significant portion of the map, not to mention the movement speed bonuses and other things that Zerg units get as a result of fighting on creep. So of the main and the natural quite saturated for TLO now, taking a 3rd base, and quite a, not a slow start to the game, but quite a macro orientated start to this game. Even our Barcode player throwing down his 3rd command center now. A few Hellions out on the map, and these will likely be to try and deny any creep spread and any harass that he can get on the field. These two queens will do a good job of being able to protect these creep tumors. You can see 5 creep tumors out already. LiquidTLO is building a spine crawler to help prevent these. All nice quick wall off a queen plus 2 evolution chambers and a spine crawler. You'll see how precise that walling is, able to stop those Hellions from getting in. And LiquidTLO's creeping right behind the Hellions run by, so he's not losing a beat at all. He's got 3 bases, almost ready to throw down a 4th, and has his creep completely spread to each of those locations. So LiquidTLO is just going off with his creep spread at the moment. Terran player not to be deterred, throwing down a starport and a number of other barracks, going up to 4 barracks now. Is +1 weapons, +1 armor on the way. Where's he hidden that second engineering bay? Oh yep, just up near the first. I'm not blind at all. So 2 engineering bays doing those +1 upgrades. The sim pack almost finished. I imagine combat shields will follow this shortly. LiquidTLO has Zergling speed and +1 weapons, +1 armor on the way, as well as continuing to drone up. If we have a look at the income tab in just a moment, we'll see that our Terran player has a slight lead. I'll throw down a comsat, see what tech structures he can see. Unfortunately for our Barcode player, LiquidTLO hasn't got any of his tech structures in his main base, so that scan effectively wasted. He would have known at this point that there'd be a spawning pull down, so it doesn't really teach him anything. Hatchery still in the main, but of course the layer is being morphed in this second base location. A lot of reasons for this. It's a lot easier to protect. Well, yeah, I would think it's easier to protect than the main base, but oh, pardon me. Only in the sense that you would notice any medevacs flying towards this base because it's not on the edge. So Spire also almost finished, well, not almost finished, underway now for LiquidTLO, as well as centrifugal hooks for the banelings, and our Terran players starting to produce some medevacs. So it's likely that this Terran force will have some extra medevac support and be able to do quite a bit of damage. LiquidTLO morphing some banelings here, but these it's possible these marines might be able to snipe this hatchery. Good. Now that 1-1 upgrade's finished, but continuing to stim, these banelings will get some great detonations. It picks up into the main base, and this is one of the things that makes these bases so annoying. You can do this sort of elevator play all day long, and LiquidTLO will have to split his force on the high ground and the low ground to try and mop up those. But LiquidTLO managing to deflect that quite easily, and is now massing a substantial Zergling Baneling force. So that's going to act to keep the Terran player stuck in his 3 bases. Won't be able to... Oh, and Overlord speed also done, so LiquidTLO able to save these Overlords. And as the 3rd base gets online and starts getting a bit of saturation, more Marines being produced, now 7 at a time, +2/+2 now on the way for both our players, as well as +1 flyer attacks. We know LiquidTLO is hovering about 800 gas, so we'll be able to produce quite a horde of Mutalisks very shortly. Soon as some more lava pop, I'd imagine. Massive Zergling Baneling force, ooh, sitting at the top of the ramp. Oh, big stim up the ramp, going to stim straight in. Oh, the Banelings! Oh, they almost didn't get the connection that he needed, but able to kill a few of those. It's never fun to run up a ramp and come face to face with the Baneling. Oh, multi-prong aggression here, drop in the main base. LiquidTLO will clean that out with a Mutalisk and the Queens, pick off that medevac, and these Marines and Marauder will get cleaned up fairly quickly. Unable to kill the Queen, that would have been a nice pickup for our Barcode player, but LiquidTLO managing to keep that alive, even though it was barely. Alright, more Marines moving up, and we'll see quite a bit of multi-prong aggression, I think, out of this Barcode player as he tries to keep this creep spread under control and continues to move medevacs and drops around the backside. So LiquidTLO throwing down some static defense here. It's quite aggressive. There's 2/3 of the way across the map. LiquidTLO taking up residence and dropping his static defense. That'll give him quite a bit of map awareness and map coverage. And had a little Zergling Mutalisk counter attack on this 3rd base, trying to clean up some of these SCVs. If we look at the worker killed count, it is 4-9. So our blue player has killed a few extra workers, but LiquidTLO trying to catch up there with a few Mutalisks. We have more bunkers bunkers and supply depots coming down to try and defend this third base. This third base very pivotal. These Marines moving around the side to try and flank what is the fourth base, while a big drop lands in the main base. He's cleaning up loads of drones. We're up to 17 workers killed for our Barcode player. It's multi-prong aggression, just keeping TLO right on the defensive, unable to move out and harass with these Mutalisks, while there's this relentless tide of bio pushing both against his front and drops flying into his rear. So we find our Terran player quite comfortable on 3 base, whereas our Zerg player will generally need to have a base or 2 on the Terran to be able to keep pace. TLO not slacking on the base count, up to 4 bases, I believe. 1, 2, 3, yep, 4 bases. Mining, he's still got his base location at the back, saved for later. We do have a Marine force dropping in here at the same time that this other fairly large Marine Widow Mine force is moving at the front. So got to be very careful of these Widow Mines. TLO still doesn't have any overseers with his Mutalisks, mainly probably because he hasn't seen a lot of the Widow Mines in play yet. His Mutalisks are going to do a bit of scouting for TLO, ensure that there's no additional bases that he doesn't know about. It is just the 3 bases, but fairly safe for the Terran to be able to expand here at a later point in the game. Well, these bunkers still empty, but designed to try and cluster the Zerglings up for the Widow Mines to hit. We still have this Terran force sitting at the back. Unfortunately, our Barcode player seems to have forgotten these temporarily, and TLO will be able to surround and pick these off quite quickly. Stim Marines dying very quickly as Zerglings, and I feel a little bit of a lost opportunity there. They could have potentially come for the main base or the Spire during one of these large engagements at the front. We see Stim Marines continuing to gun through Zerglings like there's no tomorrow. And we have a +3/+3 on the way for our Terran player. This game's just been non-stop so far. Both these players setting up for a long macro game. I think they're going to entertain us for some time to come. This game showing no signs of being over anytime soon. Terran quite comfortable on 3 base for the foreseeable future. Baneling starting to roll in, but good splits on these Marines, able to avoid most of those Baneling detonations, or right in the middle with those Banelings. Nice control from TLO. Able to avoid the splitting groups and take out the body of the Marines. Can these Mutalisks clean up these medevacs? Yes, they can. Big pickups for TLO as he kills 3 of those medevacs. These Widow Mines are not quite able to get the detonation. These Marines able to pick off a few of those Banelings. So if we check out the units lost tab, we see that it is substantially more for TLO, 2,500 minerals, but that tends to be fairly characteristic of Zerg play. Barcode player taking up residence on the high ground, this time with Widow Mines, so that he's protected against those Baneling run-through. We see some of those Widow Mines, I think, did as much damage to the Marines as they did to the Zerglings and Banelings. But TLO continuing to macro hard behind this. 16 more Zerglings, 9 Banelings on the way, +2 flyer attacks. See TLO continuing to harass with his Mutalisks, trying to pick off reinforcements and other things as they go. A Barcode player throwing down a 4th base. This will be a planetary fortress. Unfortunately for TLO, he does have a missile turret up already, but he should be able to clean this up quite quickly. 1 missile turret, not a match for what's nearly 30 Mutalisks. Unfortunately, our Barcode player is erring on the side of caution, throwing down throwing down 8 missile turrets and using all of his Marines to reinforce this location. Whoa, big Banelings rolling in here from TLO. When in doubt and unable to kill something with Mutalisks, just use 1,000 Banelings. That'll do the trick. And TLO taking out that planetary fortress with a massive clump of Banelings. A Barcode player signalling that as the opportunity to advance. He knows that TLO is down on supply, having used all those Banelings in that manner. These Widow Mines going to do a great job of protecting these Marines. Banelings rolling in, but Widow Mines are going to get great connections, take out all the Banelings, leaving TLO very exposed. We have Spine Crawlers trying to hold this line. Mutalisks being forced to defend against Marines. Not an ideal situation. Marines will cut through Mutalisks with massive cost efficiency. We have another drop in the 4th base. These Marines gunning through the Zerglings and cleaning up drones. Have Banelings here to clean this up. but that'll leave this base exposed. I think TLO made the decision to leave this one exposed at the expense of the third base in order to keep this fourth. The third base, having been mining for quite some time, you can see there's only probably 2,000 or 3,000 minerals left here tops, as opposed to this new fourth base, which is virtually untouched. So choosing to keep the base alive, that's most likely going to produce income for the longest period of time. This hatchery is so close to going down. We've got Marines and Banelings running everywhere. Banelings and Zerglings trying to clean this up. Oh, fungal from the infestor. Oh, only catches 1 or 2 Marines. A little bit disappointing, but TLO are able to clean up the remainder of this force. More Marine reinforcements streaming. We have Marines coming 10 at a time, 2 Marauders at a time, 2 Medevacs and 2 Widow Mines. It's going to be non-stop fighting at this third base, and this is what a lot of Terran vs Zerg develops. Oh, they're going to snipe the hatchery. They're going straight for it. Will it go down? Will it go down? Are you kidding me? 1 hit point. The hatchery survives with 1 hit point. Can these Marines surge forward to take it out? 1 Marine, that's all it would take. 4 health, slowly regenerating. I cannot believe this hatchery is still alive. TLO managing to keep this hatchery alive literally by the skin of his teeth. Ultralisk now on the field, going to do a great job of cleaning up these mines. Hopefully save the Mutalisk from sustaining too much damage. A Barcode player's Relentless is so close to sniping this hatchery. It would take almost nothing to kill that off. One would think if he'd just get a couple of units around the flank, he could snipe that and set TLO back a base, which would severely hamper TLO's gas production. But TLO, not to be deterred, has now taken his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th base at the back. Nice safe location where he doesn't have to worry about this persistent aggression. Most Terran vs Zerg games do develop into this style of play. If they make it past the first few minutes, they do result in Terran players strategizing with biomine to try and put pressure on the third base. The easiest way to bleed the Zerg out is to just relentlessly pressure that third base until it does go down. But TLO managing to keep that alive by the narrowest margin. I don't think he transfused or anything. It just managed to survive by the narrowest margin. Our Barcode player ensuring that he defends his own 4th base at all costs. TLO getting greedy, taking a 6th base on the other side of the map. If he can take and hold this base, it will significantly bolster his economy for the next 10 or 20 minutes. But I do doubt his ability to hold this whilst maintaining his front line, unless we see a bit more static defense. TLO is one of the Zerg players that loves to take bases, turf out a bunch of drones as static defense and keep the base there. A lot of Zergs like the fluid defense. TLO is a big proponent of holding bases with static defense. He's not afraid to take bases that are on opposite sides of the map. Well, this medevac's going to go down to the spore crawlers, but the Queens won't be able to take down this stemmed up bio. We're going to need some reinforcements. TLO sweeps in from the side here. Having lost his 6th base, he will sweep back. Oh, Banelings and Fungals will clean that up very quickly. Potentially needs to close down this avenue that they're using to attack. They're slipping in behind these spine crawlers. Potentially a reposition of those would do a great deal to help him out. We have Broodlords on the way from TLO. You don't see this every day. Best minesweepers in the world, though. These things will clean up Widow Mines all day long, and excellent at harassing. Oh, looks like our Barcode player's going for an all-in as SCVs are here trying to tank the damage, but the Broodlords are going to do a great job of that. Broodlords are going to detonate these Widow Mines on friendly Marine units. We have Fungals landing. We have Ultralisk trying to cuddle as many Marines as possible. Mutalisk going down. Supply rapidly dropping for both our players, hovering at about 140. These Broodlords are going to have to pull back. Can they kill these units? Broodlords kiting, throwing down. We have a massive swarm of Broodlings that are going to push this back. This third base, will it finally go down? Broodlords going crazy, transfused by the Queens. We have Corruptors trying to protect them. And it looks like TLO will stabilise and be able to push this back and be at a massive advantage. 140 supply to 110, and TLO is moving out with a Queen Corruptor Broodlord composition. Not something you see every day. TLO going to use the fact that he does have creep spread over most of the map. Unfortunately, not over this part. It's almost worth throwing down a few tumors here to help keep this moving. TLO wants to crack this 4th base. 3rd base mined out. He knows that his creep's right here. He can see it. knows he needs to crack this base to try and break our Terran player. Will this work though? I don't know what the Terran player can do. He's not even building any Vikings, so it looks like he's going to try and kill these with pure Marine. And if there was a few Banelings or Ultralists here, I think TLO would have this game in the bag. But our Terran player, sweep in with a nice concave. These are going to pick up all the Broodlords. So slow moving. Not enough units on the ground, and that's what we're talking about. Some Banelings or Ultralists needed to try and defend this. This could be one battle that swings the tide against TLO. He's been in such a dominant position for so long, but this Marine Marauder force is just ripping through the Overseers and Queens. All his Queens going down. Has TLO got any left? He's got no lava. There's a horrible position to be in. He needs more Queens, more lava, more Banelings. TLO quickly trying to morph in 18 Zerglings and a few Ultralists, a couple of Infestors, everything he can do to try and keep this game in his favour. He's been in such a dominant position. We need Overseers to minesweep this and expose this fourth base. So close to going down, but managing to hold that off by hiding his bio behind and plucking off those Broodlords those Broodlings from a distance. TLO really didn't want to swap his army there for such a low gain. So close to getting that base, but unfortunately for TLO, it wasn't meant to be. This orbital command here, not a lot of need to pick off this base. Not really worth picking off. We have a drop down the back. As I was saying, you don't really want to waste a lot to pick off this base. It is one gas mining and an orbital command that's muling, but ideally you'd want to stop this location or this location that are mining quite heavily. Particularly this base, quite exposed. If TLO still had his mulus, he could do substantial damage there. TLO deciding he's going to try and clean this up anyway. Our Barcode player salvaging the bunker to try and recover as many minerals as he can. TLO just poking away, trying to gain an idea of how many forces our Terran player has on the field. It is 170 to 150 supply. Our Terran player is still in the lead. And that Marine is going to die a horrible death. If there was one thing I wouldn't want to see barreling down the highway towards me, it would be an Ultralisk, and he gets cleaned up. At the biomine taking position at the top of this ramp here, mines burrowing to try and prevent any sort of surround. We have Broodlords here that are going to prematurely detonate those mines. Nice fungal growth from TLO, and this is a money composition. Infestor Broodlord, very popular, particularly at the end of Wings of Liberty. Haven't seen a whole lot of it in Heart of the Swarm, but as you can see, these fungals pinning this Terran army in place, and the Broodlord's been able to rip apart the last of it. The mine's virtually useless as they detonate on friendly Marines and Marauders. TLO throws out a few infested Terrans, but I have a feeling they're a little bit late to the party. Ultralisk able to help clean this up. Few Banelings are now being morphed in, but TLO is going to be able to hold the line. A lot of Zerglings on the way. 38 Zerglings being morphed in. TLO really needs to crack these last bases. If he could take out these bases, the game would be his for the taking. He has most of this map locked down. A Terran player forced to sit on what's effectively 2 mining bases. If he could take out one of them, he'd be in a commanding position. But this back base very quickly being mined out. Constant Marines, constant muling. TLO is going to sit back and just macro up just a little bit, trying to get his income back on the field, back in place. If we check that income tab, we'll see our Terran player still in the lead. Those Marines and mules doing great job. You'll notice he's not mining pretty much any gas at all. It's just enough gas to keep his Marauder and Medevac production going, but doesn't need to really mine gas too heavily. Massive Bioforce moving out. Can TLO hold this with his Infestor Broodlord composition? I don't know that he was quite in position in time. Throwing out some nice fungals on these Marines, but so many Medevacs healing these Marines. Big stim forward. This is looking very painful for TLO, trying to kite with his Broodlords as best he can, throwing off a volley and dropping back. Oh no, that Infestor being picked off is a big pickup. We have more Ultralists and Broodlords on the way, but TLO running out of energy is not good news for him. Could this Bioforce be enough to push through? We have both our players drop in supply rapidly. It's 120 to 136, but these Broodlords are going to be able to hide over this ravine for an indefinite period of time. No Viking support. These Broodlords are going to be able to do this all day long, picking off Marines and Marauders, but unfortunately they're not going to be able to swing too far back into the map, as they'll be very vulnerable to being picked off. A blue Terran able to pick off this base once again. We have 16 Marines in production at a time. This fourth base almost mined out, leaving our Terran on one base. TLO mining, continuing to mine, or let's call it 2.5 bases as he loses his third mining base. The Marines pushing down into the middle, trying to pick off a few Overlords and Geysers. This base valuable for gas income for TLO, but almost mined out, as you can see. Only 60 gas left. We won't be seeing that rebuilt. Now our Terran player just continuing to soldier through the middle. We have so many medevacs here. 16 medevacs just making these Marines go all day long. TLO really needs to try and pick off a few of these. A few extra Corruptors would be great, but unfortunately for TLO, he's starting to lose. Oh, and Infestor's being picked off. He's losing his income. Can he do anything about this? He's almost mined out in his other bases. We have lots of Ultralists here, a couple of Infestors. TLO really burrowing a Spine Crawler, making sure our Terran player can't take too many of these minerals. Terran trying to steal the minerals while this Spine Crawler hastily defends as best he can. You'll see when games come down to the economic wire, players doing this sort of thing to each other, just trying to take every last mineral, ensure that they have the economic advantage in the game. Few Zerglings here going to be mopping up the last of these SCVs. A Widow Mine planting down here to try and protect them, but severely doubt that many more SCVs will be making it home from here. TLO trying to muster the last little bits and pieces of his force. Terran player almost mined out. We'll probably see one more max out from our Terran player, and will TLO have enough stuff on the field to hold this back? That is the question. Terran player pushing his way down, clearing out this base. If this is secured as a Terran base, it might be a nail in TLO's coffin. Continuing to see heavy Marine, heavy Marauder production, which is going to be an excellent counter for TLO's current composition of Ultralisk, Infestor, Broodlord, because it takes a number of Fungals to be able to kill Marauder. Same with the Banelings, great at soaking up that damage. So this is a very scary looking Bioforce, and TLO is sitting on 126 supply, so not looking very promising for TLO as our Terran player just continues to max out. What can TLO do here to try and keep himself alive? He's going to need excellent positioning. He's done so well this game, managed to dictate the pace of this game for so long, but it seems like the whole game's going to revolve around the army that he lost on this base. Once you go into the Broodlord composition, you really need to keep your base alive. You can't be throwing them away the same way you do Zerglings and Banelings. But unfortunately for TLO, getting caught out by that nice concave of Marines and Marauders is what's put him in this position where our Barcode player's been able to recover. And we do see our Barcode player just throwing down his defense here. He plans to take up residence at this base and crush TLO once and for all. TLO trying to mine as best he can off these last couple of bases. He is slowly getting his supply up, but we have 140 to supply to almost 200 Zerg supply. TLO trying to clean out this base. The bunker almost finished up. Can he get this bunker before it finishes? Yep, and bunker forced to cancel. TLO will clean this up again. Nice move for TLO, procrastinating the Terran's ability to take this base. It is exactly what he needs. Terran players are almost mined out. If he can somehow hold the line and not lose his army, TLO will be in a great position. He prevent this base from going down, but this massive Bioforce going to cut through these Ultralists. Big moves from these Ultralists, getting massive kills here, but there is so many Marauders. Oh, picking off those big pickups on those Infestors. Broodlord's starting to do some damage here, but it just seems like there's not enough Zerg units. Can TLO clean this up? It's 105 supply to 85. He's so close to being able to do this. He needs to back out and get more energy on these Infestors. The Broodlords need to back out before they're stimped. A big stimp could take these out. Can he get a Fungal down to pin these in place? Oh, nice infested Terrans being dropped. TLO needs to get these Infestors to safety, and he somehow manages to do it. 90 supply to 81. TLO's managing to hold the line. Zerglings stopping this base from going down. We have the last base almost mined out, literally 600 minerals left. Can TLO do it? Or It looks like he might have held on by the skin of his teeth. What has our Terran player got? We're going to swap from the production tab to the units tab. We have 20 Marines, 10 Marauders and 13 Medevacs. It's a shame that TLO couldn't clean up those Medevacs. We have 4 Infestors, 1 Ultra Lord and 5 Broodlords. Trying to get this base down, TLO must stop this base going down. It almost would have been worth it to have a few burrowed Baneling landmines here to help prevent the mining here. You can burrow a few Banelings, and as soon as they drop all their mules and start mining, you unsurface and kill all their mining. But unfortunately, TLO obviously busy macroing and microing in other places. Got another Overseer coming up here. Now, the thing about this last engagement is there are so many medevacs here. TLO has to kill units, not injure units. He needs enough energy to be able to fungal growth units multiple times so that the Broodlords can wear them down. He cannot afford to get... Oh no, don't get caught again. There's the same way he was caught at the other base. A big stim from this bio could end TLO's day. It's just waiting. I don't know what they're waiting for. The big stim, they come in now. Are the Infestors in position? They are at the top of the ramp. Fungal there is going to catch a couple of those Marauders. Nice little pickups. Where are Terran player? Why are they not trying to defend this base? Big stim, here it comes. Marines and Marauders flying towards this force. We have a big Zergling Baneling force. Can TLO hold on here as Marines and Marauders on both sides? The Infestors are not getting out of this alive. They have to pin these Marines and Marauders. Units coming in from both angles. Will this be the surround that our Barcode player needs to end TLO's harassment once and for all? These Infestors not going to be able to escape. They could potentially burrow, but TLO's busy trying to get his Broodlords out. Didn't think to burrow the Infestors. Now it's going to be too late. Bad news for TLO, unfortunately. Can he get these Broodlords out? He's managing to take out a few Marines and Marauders, but he's not going to... almost killing that base. Got to keep this Ultralisk alive. Run, Ultralisk! No, the Stim Bio is going to move forward to take it down. Will this base burn out? TLO going to be running his Zerglings around, getting an idea. He does know just how low an economy our Terran players on. This base is all that's left. Forced to drop a mule to try and repair this orbital command. TLO flying a single solitary Broodlord up to try and pick off that base. Can he get it? He does get the... Oh, nice. TLO manages to pick up that base. We have Zerglings harassing the production. Very little in the way of production. You can see just what a low economy game. These 2 Vikings coming out now, though, it could be the nail in the coffin. There's literally no mining being done for our blue player. Can he win it with 2 Vikings? Who knows? We will see. TLO still has quite a bit of minerals in this location. If he can keep this base alive for just a little bit... Oh, this Broodlord's going to go down. We're going to go back to the units tab. It's just been such a crazy game, back and forward. 4 Vikings. I worry for our Broodlords. The Broodlords are what's keeping TLO in this game, and he just... Oh no, this last mining base, TLO needs to defend this. We have Ultralisks and Infestors and Broodlords here ready to go. Can he defend the same way he has for the last couple of engagements? He needs a perfect engagement here to do it. His Marines are split so well, the Infestors don't know what to fungal. Going to have to pull back when the Vikings get over here. TLO will be in big trouble though. Vikings going to be able to pick off these Marines and Marauders. Vikings going to be able to pick off these Broodlords, and the base does go down. We have Marines spread out everywhere. Fungal's going down, but it's not going to be enough. These Broodlords unable to fall back. We have a Viking harassing them now. And the last remnants of TLO's force is being crippled here. It's 3 Broodlords. TLO forced to tap out of the game. I can't believe it. Even TLO thinks that was a great game. TLO saying it's the best game he's had in months, and guys, I have to agree. That game was so back and forth. Just an excellent game coming down to the wire. Literally 16 minerals apiece in the bank. The Terran player, until he dropped these mules, had almost no income whatsoever. If TLO could have held on to this base by for just a smidgen longer, he would have been able to hold it. Just so many great engagements there. TLO showing us how to use Broodlords and Infestors. Just absolutely phenomenal play out of both these players. You ought to go back and watch some of those engagements. Just a great example of how to use both the bio and the Zerg forces in late game. So excellent game. 47 minutes of non-stop action. I got to say, I'm pretty much out of breath. go ahead and hit the like video on this. You can see how tongue-tied I am. Go ahead and hit that like button if you enjoyed the cast. I sure as hell did. It was an excellent game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be bringing you more of these along with some Liquid Hero games later on. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll catch you next time.